Welcome back to This Week in Louisiana Politics. I am joined by Congressman Troy Carter, Democrat from New Orleans. He is joining us via Zoom from Washington, D.C. Congressman, thanks for coming on. Welcome.
Hey, Fred. Always good to be with you.
So you're in Washington, D.C. this weekend, and you're attending the annual conference for the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. So what's on the agenda this weekend?
Yeah, this is the 54th year of the Congressional Black Caucus's annual legislative conference. We have a wide assortment of panel discussions from healthcare to environment to the 20th anniversary of Katrina and beyond. We'll be talking about a myriad of issues that impact Louisiana, our entire country, and even our world. It's an exciting time to bring people to the nation's capital to be a part of the discussion on ongoing policies that are happening in and around our country. We have people and stakeholders and thought leaders from virtually every single concentration you can imagine are here participating in this annual conference that is a conference that really zeroes in on policy, on issues, whether it's federal, state, or local government. And it's a two-way conversation, not us talking to, but having an exchange between these stakeholders. It's really an exciting time.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder, is crime on the agenda?
Crime is always on the agenda. When we talk about the deployment of resources, you may be aware, certainly, that the president has discussed the possibility of sending National Guard troops to Louisiana, or to New Orleans more specifically. And I want to be abundantly clear, we're not pushing back against anyone who wants to help. We are concerned of the type of help. We know that our National Guard does an incredible job with working with before, during, and after storms. They've been great partners for our local authorities. They've been great for Sugar Bowl and Super Bowl with crowd control. But they're not police officers. They're not trained to be police officers, trained in de-escalation. They're not trained on the municipal laws of our cities. They're great partners, and we love to have their help. We just don't want our cities militarized with communities that look like a war zone with officers or soldiers walking around with M16s. We would like to have the president to assist us with greater funding for our police departments, working with our district attorney's office to have state-of-the-art crime labs, working with community policing that will have more and better trained police officers. These are ways that the president can help. Governor Landry, in fact, has been helpful in sending Troop NOLA. Troop NOLA, working in tandem with our local police department in collaboration, have made a big difference. So there's ways that we can help without over or militarizing our cities.
You had mentioned Governor Jeff Landry, and he is all for a lot of those things that you had mentioned. He talked about the militarization, or the appearance of the militarization of our streets. His comment was that some of these streets are already, quote, war zones, and that we should be sending in military personnel to these quote war zones. What's your reaction to that?
Respectfully, I think we need to fortify our police departments to go into these zones. Police departments and police officers who have the expertise in dealing with and enforcing municipal laws that, quite frankly, very respectfully, our National Guard does not. The ability to exercise and to operate in a de-escalation mode, something that our police officers are trained to do, and unfortunately, that to depart from that would probably cause more harm than good. I think we're saying the same thing, that we want to have all the resources that we can have. What we don't want to do is to militarize or send the wrong message. There's a lot of ways we can work together. The governor has proven and demonstrated that he can deploy the resources that he has, and it's made a difference. We invite to do more of that. We invite the White House to work with us on sending resources to our police departments, working with our agencies, working with communities. This has demonstrated to be very successful. As you know, New Orleans is now enjoying one of the lowest crime rates they've had in decades.
Yeah.
But we're not going to stop there. We're going to continue to push back against crime until we're at zero. And we'll take all partners that want to help We just want to make sure that the help is the best help and not counterproductive help.
Certainly, violent crime is down. And speaking of that, we've seen some political violence in the recent days. And researching for this interview, I was on the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation website, and they put a note on there saying, and I'll just quote what I read, "To provide peace of mind and protect the well-being of our conference attendees, CBCF, that's the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, has worked and will continue to work closely with federal and local law enforcement, convention center security, and our own private security providers to implement strengthened safety measures throughout the conference and at off-site events." Was this, do you know, was this in response to the recent violence we've seen?
Yeah, I think we all have to recognize that we're living in different times, that we're living in times when, unfortunately, people act out violently when they don't like your speech. Listen, I'm a big proponent of free speech. Even when you don't like the speech, you have to recognize that our Constitution gives you the right to exercise your right to free speech. Charlie Kirk had the right to say the things that he said, albeit many of which that I just don't like and disagree with vehemently. But I don't deny him or anyone the right to exercise their free speech. No one, and I can't underscore this more, no one should be dealt with in a violent way. No one should be attacked, murdered, harassed because they don't like what someone else says. People have the right to say it. Political violence has no place in our discourse. Political violence has no place in American politics. And in fact, violence by itself is certainly not the way to settle disagreements. We can disagree without attacking each other. We can have vehement disagreements not liking what each other says, but political violence is never acceptable.
All right, Congressman, you mentioned policy. Let's get back to policy. We're looking at another government shutdown if a spending bill isn't approved. I believe the House just approved one, but it hasn't gone through. So we still don't have a spending bill. What are your predictions for a government spending bill? Is this going to happen?
Well, you know what? I'm telling you, we're in Washington now, and I'm staying in Washington. And I'm encouraging all of my Republican colleagues to join us back in Washington. We should not be on recess. We should not be at home. We should be here at the table, negotiating, discussing, doing everything in our power to avoid a government shutdown. A government shutdown is a shutdown on the American people. It shuts down resources that slow payments to our people who are depending on Medicare checks. It slows payments to our military who are protecting us at home and abroad. It slows down the wheels of government that provide resources to people all over. Our TSA workers who will have to still work in the airports, but they won't be paid. No one wants to or can afford to go to work 40 hours and not get a paycheck. We have to do everything in our power to make sure that we find a way to fund our government. Shutting it down is reckless and irresponsible, and we stand ready to have a serious discussion, not a discussion that presents something to the Congress to vote on that's not conscionable. I voted against the spending bill that was brought to us last week because it did not take care of the American people's needs. It didn't take care of health care. It didn't take care of those issues that are pressing to people at their kitchen tables. The Senate did the same thing. Now we've got to come back to the table and continue to work on ways to actually come up with a reasonable budget, pass it, keep the American people, the lights on, and government working.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Congressman Troy Carter will be watching that process very closely. I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with a look at the week ahead.